Everybody, I got a smooth dude on the channel today. Oh my God, check it out. You should look at his backdrop. He loved his backdrop so much that he got it in his video. Now, he lives this backdrop every day, and I think some of what he's doing is rubbing it in on us. That might be what his motivation is, because I don't have a backdrop like that, even though y'all know I'm in Detroit. We got a riverfront. We ain't got no mountains. We ain't got no ocean, but we got a lot of lakes. We got a lake that's divide us in Canada, and we got an island. You know, I'm gonna boost up my city now. We got a little island that's a recreation park, so it ain't like where he is, and no way is it close to the weather. But nonetheless, you know, I see where my man going with it. That's good looking and everything. You know, he all professional and whatnot. Oh man, we jamming here strong inspirations. Y'all know I'm Anthony Brogdon, and I'm not playing with you. I'm coming across everywhere I can find somebody to come and share some Black history with you. You're gonna love this story. You're gonna love this because we don't talk about it much. You'll see what I'm saying in a minute. I don't know nothing about it from a Black history perspective. You'll see what I'm saying in a minute. And so I know my man is good. He's gonna blow mine and your mind away. You know what I like to say? He's gonna intoxicate us with good Black history, straight, no chasing. How about that? And we're gonna talk a little bit about that too. So hit the subscribe button to Strong Inspirations. New videos are coming up weekly. Hit the like button on this video because you don't know nothing about what he's talking about. You just know it's got a beautiful backdrop. Hit the notifications bell for when the videos come up. You get a ding, a shock. You get something to say, I got to watch another one. It's time. And check it out, everybody. Look at this. You ain't got to look at it. You can just hear it. Because I ain't singing and dancing, even though I'm a good dancer, so to speak. You know what I mean? You can just listen to it. You can move the cursor where you want. Watch it more than once, because there are going to be points in these videos that you're going to have to share with somebody so that they can get this information. And I'm getting good comments too. I mean, there's, you know, people tweet me, and you can follow me at A Strong Dream. This thing, the train has left the station and is not coming back. I'm having too much fun. Everybody, did you see the video I did with? And I'm giving you a little bit of something that's unique, like my man. The one I did with the people out of New Mexico. I got two of them up on the channel. They gave Black people land in New Mexico called homestead, but told them you got 5 years, you got to make some improvements. Well, you know, I mean, you know, ain't had no money. What you want me to do? And then at the end of the 5 years, we done did the improvements. Now we got to go through the hoops. That ain't all this and ain't all that. Watch that video. There's two of them. How about the one I did out of Omaha, Nebraska? Yeah, man, there's Black history in Omaha. And one of our leaders come out of there, that Malcolm X, come out of Omaha. Watch that video. What about Boise, Idaho? I got the guy who run the museum in Boise, Idaho on the channel. I got the lady who runs the Black History Museum in Oklahoma City. Not Tulsa, Oklahoma City. Watch that video. I got the one with the lady out of Ireland. I'm going international on you now, out of Ireland. Watch that video. So, you know, just check, you know, it's all going very well. Couple more things. I want y'all, if you can, please watch my movie. It's good. Not just because I said it, I had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other people say they enjoyed it. On the rise of Black business in America, slaves who went to college. And if you didn't know, now you know. We was jamming and they could not hold us back, no matter what the conditions was. Some of us broke through. That's what you learn on the channel. That's what you learn in my movie, which is streaming on Amazon. And that's what you learned in my book. I got over 20, 30 of them, I think, slave-owned businesses. Some of them was very wealthy too. And in many instances, they used the money to buy their freedom. Now I ain't gonna lie, I ain't learned that in school. Well, when I found that fact out, I said, man, that inspires me unbelievably. And so I put it in the book form for you. And every 10th book I sell, I donate one to a school. I want people to have this information. I got hefty goals of donations every 10th book. So do that. Go to my website, everybody, businessintheblack.net. That's the website, businessintheblack.net. Now, you hear me use this term strong a lot. Strong is my favorite word. I'm going to keep using it from now on. This brother, he's strong. Everybody out in his community, they admire this man. They admire him for the dedication that he has volunteering for others, strangers, and their rights, and even to this day, on that beautiful backdrop. And so strong stands for strength, tenacity, resilience, and a sense of oneness, nobility, and grace. And that is my introduction to the smooth dude out of that. I think it's the 50th state.
Yes, sir.
The 50th
yes, sir.
state?
Yes,
Y'all know
sir.
what I'm talking about. Y'all know y'all get geography. Hawaii.
Yes, sir.
Come on, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Alfonso Braggs, and I'm humbled to present to you today. I'm originally from Wilmington, North Carolina. After graduating high school, I spent about 26 years in the Navy. I am a submarine sailor, and I have lived in this beautiful tropical paradise since 1992. I serve in a number of local, state, and national capacities, probably most notably as the National Assistant Secretary for the Board of Directors of the NAACP. I also hold a presidential appointment to the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, State Advisory Committee, and I am so deeply honored to be a member of that august fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and esteemed to hold leadership as a Prince Hall Mason and Shriner.
Ooh,
And with that, I'm
did
a
I tell you
father,
he heavy?
grandfather,
Yep.
and author.
Yep. Did I tell you he heavy, everybody? I got to ask a couple questions about you, my friend, because
Yes,
we in
sir.
that same illustrious organization. We talked about that. That's my
Mm-hmm.
colors, black and gold. But that's another sidebar, right, everybody? So you grew up in Wilmington.
Yes.
Did you know some racial stuff in Wilmington?
Of course, obviously, but and if you haven't done a segment on it, I would urge you to do a segment on the Wilmington 10 or the
Yeah.
Wilmington Race Riot at the turn of the century, where Wilmington was partially burned, and or the story and the saga of the Wilmington 10, and also the history. It's really deep in its history, and it has championed how it is that we as a people can overcome our adversities
I love
and
it.
move forward.
I love it. So did you grow up in a black neighborhood, white neighborhood? I
I
mean, a
grew
mix.
up in Wilmington. I grew up truly in the projects. I'm a proud kid of
Really?
Gervais. All right, and if you know Wilmington, you know Gervais, and let me give it up for
Yeah.
Gervais projects.
Yes.
And I'm one of those kids that was not defined by my circumstance. I am defined by the choices that I made to overcome those circumstances. And that's
Yes.
why I believe God's grace and mercy has me where I'm at today.
Yes. Okay. Now we rolling here, my friend. Okay. Growing up in them projects, you saw stuff happen.
Of course, as do most inner city kids coming up where you're facing socio and economic situations, family dysfunctions, episodes of mental illnesses, which we in the Black community don't want to address or even identify, stigmas, barriers, all of those kinds of situations, lifestyles, atrocities, sex, drugs, violence, all of that is a
Okay.
part of growing up in the inner city, and we make choices.
Yeah. Okay. Let's stay on this. And maybe I want to put a Black History slant on that just a second. Is there some Black historyness that you could say tied into some of the people and the actions that they made?
Of course there is. And
Really?
I
Okay.
will say, first of all, I feel that I'm a product of Black history, because individuals poured into me, and I believe that I have set certain milestones and been benchmarks that had not been met across my 6+ decades. And I will say that those who poured into me also made history. We are known for a number of distinguished and historic individuals to come out of Wilmington. And again, I don't want to go deep into that because I really would like for you, urge you to do a series on that. I
Yeah.
will,
Okay.
the short answer to your question is yes.
Okay.
You know,
Do you know the plantation in your family?
do I know where we came from? Yes.
Yes.
It's included in my book that I wrote on the legacy of my blackberry seed, unfinished conversations with my father. And I want to briefly tell you, my
Please.
father died when I was a child. So as a young black man growing up, I did not have the opportunity to have those conversations that in a traditional family a father would have with its sons. I think part of what we owe is to tell our history.
I love
And
it.
we need to do it from a researched perspective
I love it.
so that it is credentialed and then it can't be denied to future generations.
Let me ask you this. Is there something that somebody other than your immediate family, one of these elders or somebody else, it wasn't your, mom, dad, or something, but somebody else that pulled you to the side that you could say made a difference?
Oh,
One thought.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I can give you a historic individual, uh, Bishop, the Bishop Herbert Bell Shaw Sr., who was the presiding prelate of the AME Zion Church. Reverend Robert W. Johnson, who happened to have been my pastor. Miss
Okay.
Margaret Simmons, who was a cousin of mine.
Okay, I
Miss
love it.
Margaret McBaham, a teacher. You know,
Yeah.
what the commonality that I later learned in my adult life is that these individuals who were unconditionally committed to my success were also professional community leaders and organizers and champions of social justice and human causes. And because what they poured into me was unconditional commitment and dedication to future generations,
I got
I
you.
now get to pay them back
I got you.
with a lifelong service
I got
to
you.
continuing that contribution.
Let me ask you this then. As a result of that, did you do something in high school, in college, or something like that that put you on this track?
Oh, absolutely. Because those individuals poured into me at an early age, I did. Even as a troubled youth, I saw the pathway that they had laid for me and lit up for me, and I became a member of city council as a youth council member. I got involved
Really?
in politics. I got involved in social justice. I got involved in legal issues. I became the editor of my school newspaper. You know,
Yes.
I was a member of the Honor Society. I refused to be defined by my circumstances,
Oh,
rather the
yes.
goals and opportunities that had been
Yes.
set before me.
Yes. I love it. And so, where'd you go to college?
I went to Phoenix and Cornell. My most recent is Cornell, where I studied diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I hold a master's of business administration and a bachelor's of science in business management.
Is your mom alive? Is she able to see how great you're doing?
Oh, my mother passed a few years ago,
But she
not
saw it.
before she had a chance to see what this young man is doing.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, and so on and so forth. So, um, you, this is a deep question, and you can play with it as you want. I got people on the channel who found out that their father was lynched,
Mm-hmm.
and the white man did that without any trepidation.
Mm-hmm.
But the kids suffer a lot from that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
which could, I'm not saying your dad's scenario, but without a person, just the scenario of them being
So
gone.
let me tell you that
Yeah,
I think that for any child to reach a certain point in their life where they have not had the full breadth and experience of a healthy, because there are some that are alive, but the relationship is dead.
yeah, I got you.
So
I got you.
that's equally as troubling and as painful
Yes,
and
yes,
tumultuous. And I see a lot of that, and I dedicate myself as a life skills coach to addressing it with young people. So I
yeah.
will say that it is a very, very heavy uh, burden to carry for individuals, men and women. I say
And
that it is
yes,
to me, I
yes,
believe it's more impactful though on black and brown men
yes,
just because of the images that we are to portray and the
yes,
stigmas and barriers that society has imposed, that we
yes,
are not supposed to have emotions and feelings. We're not supposed to
yes,
respond to the lack of love or
yes,
the failure of
yes.
relationship or the
Right.
dysfunction of our society or our network.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, no, you're on point with that one. And so as a result, when did you start liking Black history?
I loved Black history from a child only because it was nurtured in me by my grandmother when she would sit us around on the weekends and she would say, let me tell you about so and so, your great uncle or your aunt or your grandfather. Or she would
Yes.
say, this is, the story about this person. And those stories, as in the African tradition, they weren't read out of a book. They were told in storytelling,
Yep.
which even enhances the beauty, the pride, the richness of our heritage, and it instills in us a desire to move it forward. And I felt the need in writing my book that it was important for me to carry some of that legacy forward in written form, just because I didn't want it to be lost
That's right. I got you.
on future generations.
Well, we're
And
gonna
I
we're gonna
think,
plug the book, man. Just trust me. We're plugging the book.
you
When we
know,
get towards the end, we want that to be the last thing in the website and how to get it. Let me ask you this. You live in Hawaii.
yes,
How long you been there? You said
since 1992, 30 years plus.
what when you first got there, what was the biggest surprise from a black person's perspective of Hawaii?
I think the biggest shocker for me came, I knew that it was tropical and beautiful and everything. I think just learning a culture of people who were also indigenous, who had also been tremendously marginalized and stripped of a lot of their history, heritage, and hope, to see that assimilation, and to also, as a black person, come to a point of respect, genuine human respect for others who had gone through what my people had gone through, yet say that just because of that, I will not try and deny you the feeling, the emotion, the experience of what you've gone through just because I may have gone through the similar. And
Yeah.
then to realize that there's such a small populace of people of African descent here. The latest census has us at around 3.2% out of about a 1.45 million population. So that is really eye-opening to also understand that as one of the top most expensive places to live in America, for the majority of the
Yeah.
African Americans here, they're middle, upper class,
Oh,
and
is that right?
professionals.
Okay,
Yes,
let's
very
stay on
successful.
the history when you first got there. 3% out of a million is what? 30,000.
It's just under 40,000 now.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So
And the
you
big
don't.
populace of that has to do with the fact that there is a large military contingent here, a large federal government contingent here.
Okay.
So, that really bolsters that
So
3.2%.
when you take that away and you go with people like
You are
not
nothing.
not
You are
people like
just
you, What about
Mhm.
are there native black people there that have grown up and got generations on the island?
True, there are individuals who are Kama Aina, if we would say the word, which means that you are truly born and raised here and part of the local community. So there are kids that were born here, marry here, raise their children here, and will be laid to rest here.
What how what's as you might notice, what's the beginning of black people in Hawaii?
So blacks came to Hawaii once ships started sailing across the Pacific. A lot of blacks came here to get away from slavery when they had the opportunity. Some came all the way around, but predominantly, however, the predominance and some of the most traced and authenticated history shows that men came here on ships seeking new opportunities for work and other opportunities. And so, what we have a history that is documented from the 1700s and so is that we became landowners, businessmen, we established part of the government, and we have touched on every aspect of human life and existence since then.
Now there's I don't know if you know the name, but there's a couple black guys that were explorers that are considered the first to get there. Is that the case?
Well, not necessarily. I'm not aware of it.
Yeah,
Seven historical icons
let's do it
that
now.
a lot of, okay.
Yeah,
So let me give you one of those. I'll start with a young lady by the name of Betsy Stockton. Betsy family came from Princeton, New Jersey in 1798, and she was born in New Jersey in 1798, and she was born a slave, and she was given as a gift to the president of Princeton College, and because of who she was connected with, she was taught to read and write and such. She later gained her freedom when she became part of the missionaries. And I wanted to interject that because part of the framing away from the original Hawaii construct is the influence and impact that the missionaries had when they came to the islands and invoked a different ideology on religion, culture, behaviors, all of that.
okay.
So in 1823, she came here as part of that. And what she is best known for is she established what is known as one of the first public schools in the state, and she taught Native Hawaiians. To this day, we celebrate on the island of Lahaina at a high school there, the first known school that we've had here in the islands, in the state, and that is attributed to a black woman
I
who
love it.
taught Native Hawaiians,
Okay. Okay.
algebra, English, all of that,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
That's one.
Yeah.
Let's go in a different area. Let's go to Anthony Allen. Anthony Allen, as Honolulu, which is the capital island, was being kind of framed, structured, and everything. Um, he, as a businessman, came. He helped to found a hospital. That was critical because as we had a lot of sailing ships coming through here, it was important that they had a place to be treated. So he
You mean the
helped,
black people
and
had a
so
place, or people in general?
as sailors who were on the ships moving through the Pacific, right, would come here and they would have sick mariners on the ship.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
He founded one of the hospitals that was set up to treat those. Okay,
Okay.
he set up a lot of our road systems, uh, a lot of the streets and things. He helped lay out. He had a large 6 acre property where now one of the middle schools is at. And
Okay.
he was one of the blacks during that period, the 19th century, who entertained the kings and the royalties and dignitaries
Really?
when they came to Hawaii.
Okay.
So we have not been without, in our contribution. Now,
Okay.
for those who have studied the history of Hawaii, you also know that we had a very, very troubling disease, leprosy. And
Right.
so leprosy at one point in time was kind of relegated to a specific island. The difference being made, though, in that healing and recovery process is way back in 1915, a young female came to the island to study, and she went on to become the first woman as well as the first Black to earn a master's in science degree from our University of Hawaii here. She
Okay.
didn't just get that education and go back. As a student and a teacher, she began to study and develop a cure or treatment for leprosy called Hansen's disease at that time,
Okay.
and developed what is now regarded as the ball method. This young lady who died at the age of 24, shortly after matriculating her degree and everything, is considered to have had the greatest impact on the treatment and recovery of leprosy. And not a lot of people give that recognition on a world stage
Yeah.
to her contributions.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, let me say also that we have been significant not only in education, we've also been significant in law. And so the stewards, and it was a whole family. The father was a lawyer. The daughter was a teacher, and so we think about in 1893 was the overthrow of the Hawaiian kingdom. However, as all of this was happening, and we didn't become a state till 1959. As a matter of fact, this past Friday, we just celebrated statehood. Um, so part of that was trying to have some settlement, legal settlement, with respect to other countries, individuals feeling that they had certain rights. Thomas McCants Stewart was that particular lawyer who worked with the Kalakawa's cabinet to help draft up the acts that established the territory of Hawaii and also aided in the Hawaiians securing lands that had been taken as a part of the overthrow. Yes, when we say this, and I do this, it's something that they used to do on a radio station
Yeah.
in Washington, D.C. They used to say, Thomas McCants Stewart, a Black man who made a difference.
Yeah. I
And so
love
we
it.
give honor today on individuals who've made a difference. When we look at the integration of music and entertainment and King Kamehameha, we wonder why, if you listen to the Kamehameha's, the Royal Hawaiian Band now, you say, wow, those individuals, that sound like jazz or something. Well, remember I told you people were leaving the United States and they were moving to Hawaii to get away from those atrocities.
Right. Right.
And let
Right.
me tell you that when they came here and they had talent, the kings were putting them into his band. And so
Hold on.
the
Hold on. Hold
band
on. Let me
was
stop you.
led
I don't mean no
by
disrespect. The
blacks.
Kings. Now
For,
let me stop you.
yes,
Let me stop you. The Kings band. Who is it? Who's the king?
the King Kamehameha.
And that's who? The
King
black guy.
Kamehameha was one of the well the first was the one who organized all of the islands and established the Hawaii, and
Oh,
the
really?
second,
Okay,
third,
that's
and
who did
fourth.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as they got down, it was King Kamehameha the third, who in 1834 had the first blacks to lead the Royal Hawaiian Band. Remember, the 1830s,
Yes.
blacks
Right.
were at the head of the Hawaiian Royal Band.
Yes, I
you
got
know.
you. I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we could keep continue. I will leave you with this here one.
Yes.
We often recognize the great Jackie Robinson, and we say, Jackie Robinson is so famous because he broke the barrier in baseball. If we really look at Jackie Robinson's story, we see that this is a kid who had to drop out of school for economic reasons. You know, and when he dropped out of school, what happened is he got picked up by a semi-pro football team. That semi-pro football team was a team that was from Hawaii. And that
Oh,
team
really?
brought Jackie Robinson to Hawaii because of racism. And this goes back to your earlier question, right? Because of racism, he could not stay in the hotels with the regular players. So the Hawaiian folks put him up down at at one of their facilities. And Jackie Robinson played on this team until the outbreak of World War II, at which time he joined the military, served, and stood up, fought for justice and equality,
Yeah, he
had
did.
some situations, and went
Yeah.
on, yes, and NAACP served on our board of directors
Yes.
for a number of years.
Right.
And we know what he did do. What
Right.
we're here, and when we talk about history, is to talk about the monumental contributions that aren't often spoken of.
Yes. Now
Right.
let's yeah, I mean that's phenomenal. And the names, because we don't know them. Is there
Hmm.
is there a black neighborhood in Hawaii?
No, sir. No, sir, there isn't. And I will tell you, to be quite honest, Hawaii is so diverse that it's kind of hard to say that this is a specific culture neighborhood anywhere that there is outside of what may be traditionally a Hawaiian populace just because of homestead land.
Oh,
So
okay.
when individuals come, you basically you integrate into, whatever community that, you're comfortable integrating into.
It
So
can black people, and I'm not saying can, do black people walk around with "I'm black and I'm proud" t-shirts and dashikis? Is there
you
is there a community like that?
So there isn't a community. We celebrate obviously Juneteenth, MLK, all of the Divine Nine.
Yeah.
I will tell you, we have all of those entities fully functional here in Hawaii. So we have the black nurses, the black doctors, the black lawyers, the black teachers, the black military organizations, the
Okay.
NAACP, the links,
Okay.
all of those are blacks in government. All of those are very, very much functional parts of the state of Hawaii, as well as other lesser known organizations. And I think I would attribute that to individuals who came to Hawaii as part of those professional organizations, saw other entities, such as some of the first ones here were obviously Prince Hall Masons.
Oh,
Even
okay.
when, things not long in the early 1900s, Prince Hall Masons were marching in the parades downtown through Honolulu at major holidays. And I
Oh,
think that as other organizations members came to Hawaii, like the AKAs and the Alphas and all of them, we began to organize into our own um, chapters, clubs, and such, and
yes.
make a difference. One of
I
those
got you.
first to organize, obviously, was the NAACP headquarters received complaints of racism and discrimination by military soldiers during World War II. And so
Okay.
our national executive at that time came to Hawaii, surveyed the situation, and saw the need in the 1940s to organize a branch of the NAACP.
Then let me stop you there. What was the
Uh-huh.
complaints that they might have?
Complaints that they were having is that they, as blacks, were not allowed to go into certain establishments, similar to what was being experienced on the
Yeah,
mainland
on the
by
mainland. Yeah.
blacks in the South. Now, here is the interesting piece. Uh, all too often, we relegate discrimination history to a white and a black. Discrimination knows no barrier when it comes to racism, to hate. It doesn't get involved in color. It is a concept and a behavior that should not be tolerated by any individual towards
Okay.
another person. And
Okay.
so this was being done, to discriminate against blacks by by other cultures, by other races. And
Yeah.
so,
Okay. But you're not saying just white races.
well, whites at that time, remember, whites is a very, very small minority here in Hawaii.
Oh. So who's
Yes.
the
So
dominant?
one of the things that the NAACP amazingly has received complaints from, we receive complaints from white people who complain that they're being discriminated against by people who are Pacific Islanders or Asians or
Oh,
even blacks.
really?
Right, because at the end of the day, we are a civil rights organization responsible for responding to such. And so if you're being discriminated against, you go to the organization or
Yeah.
agency
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
responsible for that.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know, it's just ironic
Sure.
for a lot of people.
I'm sure it is. Has there ever been a race riot or a riot of any sort in Hawaii that you know of?
So the the issues that have risen here have been more towards the native Hawaiians and the overthrow of the monarchy and the call to attention of the fact that the indigenous folks need to or desire to, reassemble and retrieve and reconnect that which was taken from them.
Oh,
With
okay.
respect to, the concept that we experience on the continental US, that isn't the case. And I'll say in part because there is a mindset here of aloha. You'll hear that word often. And
Yeah.
it simply is a desire to live in harmony and in peace, not only with each other, also with the Aina, which is the land, that which the Creator has given us, that we have a moral and an ethical responsibility to preserve and protect
Yes.
it,
Yes.
and
Sure.
to
Sure.
keep our beaches beautiful and free, our country live and green.
Sure.
And, everybody and future
Sure.
generations should have an opportunity to enjoy that.
Okay. If you can go with this one. Let's go back just a second to what you just said. There was a revolt against the king.
The overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy
Yes.
by the
What was
U.S.
that all
government.
about? Because I don't know that. What was that all about?
Okay, so in 1893,
Right.
armed individuals went into the palace. The monarch at that time was Queen Liliuokalani, and the U.S. Marines
Oh.
placed her under guard and declared that Hawaii was now a territory of the United States and no longer a monarch.
Now the
And
monarch
so
was Asian, right?
she was Hawaiian, the queen,
Hawaiian.
Hawaiian
And
queen.
somehow her family said, we're going to own all this
Well, I mean, at the
type
end of
thing.
the day, everything was Hawaiian, right?
Yeah.
And so, as either sold, acquired, leased, or whatever, it went into others' hands
Oh, I got you.
through
I got you.
marriage, through whatever, uh,
Okay.
mhm.
So
through
they
the
overthrew that.
regular and a lot. I will tell you that the obviously the largest stakeholder truly is still the monarch, the Hawaiian native Hawaiians.
they own most of everything. They're the
No,
big.
no, no, no. They just have the I won't say if there were 100 quote unquote businesses, I'm not going to say that they have the majority of them. What I'm going to say is that just based on the fact that they have leasehold, they have property, that they have endowments, foundations, that is the largest capital
I got you.
that
I got you.
exists.
I got you. Do black people um but y'all congregate, I know, with the fraternities and
Oh
sororities and the other
yes, oh
groups.
yes, oh yes.
Is there any kind of celebration of some sort that many
Of
of them do
course.
come together?
Oh yes,
Yes,
we
okay,
do.
okay.
I mean, if I was to run down throughout the calendar year in January, obviously we have this huge coming together for Martin Luther King weekend. Not
Oh,
just the day,
really?
but yes, that whole weekend. So some of the things that in the past that has happened on that Friday weekend, that holiday weekend, we may have a golf tournament. That Saturday
Yes.
is the NAACP Awards Gala, so everybody dresses up.
I love
Sunday,
it.
we do a religious service, and Sunday evening, the D9 has a step off. Then
Okay.
on Monday, we do a big old parade. It's one of the largest parades in the state. And following the parade that afternoon, there is a rally in the park where, like concert, entertainment, dancing, all of that.
Okay.
So that's our Martin Luther
Okay.
King weekend. We go
Okay.
into multiple events that we will have in February for Black History Month. There's a
Okay.
week long where we do the Black Film Festival.
Oh,
There are
really? Okay.
numerous celebrations throughout
I got you.
churches and such.
Okay.
And we just continue that all the way through
Through the year.
Juneteenth
I got
and
you.
yeah, throughout the year doing different things.
Do y'all have a black newspaper, black radio
Uh, we
station?
no longer have we no longer have a black printed anything. There
Yeah.
was a gentleman out of San Francisco who, for about 30 some years, we had uh, a journal that he would put out on a regular basis.
Okay.
And, that kind of faded along with the printed press.
Yeah, sure,
Um,
sure, sure.
we do have now in this age of social media, several websites and entities dedicated to the preservation of Black history. And we have like
Okay.
the Popolo Project. I would recommend some of your
Yes.
audience go check that out. The
Yeah.
Popolo Project, the African American Culture Diversity Center of Hawaii, or the Obama Center. Those are just two that come to immediate recognition, and then obviously a lot of little small groups on Facebook and other social media.
Being on an island, you're on what island?
I am on the capital island of Oahu, where the main city here is Honolulu.
So the biggest island is, you said, Oahu.
No, no, no. We have the largest population, almost around 1 million. The land, the biggest, is it's not is called Hawaii, just as the state is called
Yeah,
Hawaii.
really. Okay.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
we almost coming to a close. So you got all these islands. Is it easy for one to get from one island to the next? Do you go to another island on a daily basis just to hang out or to go to
People
work?
do.
You got clients over there, whatever, whatever.
Right. People do. I will tell you, moving around the state now, the way you get back and forth is you have to fly. At
Yeah.
one point in time, we had a ferry that took you back and forth. However, the predominant means by now, really the only way, unless you own a yacht or something, is that you'll get on a plane and you'll travel between the two.
But there are but what about them other little smaller islands? Black people are scattered everywhere, I suspect,
Yes,
I'm sure.
we're so the state is broken up into 4 counties, and
Oh,
we live on
really?
all 4 counties, and we flourish on all 4 counties.
Okay.
There are some small islands here a couple of which are just private land masses
Okay.
that you may
Okay.
have heard about in the news. For the most part, though, the prevalent islands, we are there and we do thrive. I will also say that we have our challenges, as do all. It does not compare with the issues that we may see in the mainland. However, we do have instances of racial issues and such with
Police
our school
brutality?
systems, jobs, neighborhoods, housing, all of those things. And in part because racism is something that is taught and something that moves forward that people do because, in part, one, they don't know, or two, they choose to be hateful and
That's right.
bigoted and biased. And so we are not without because those individuals came here and imparted and imposed their ideas and concepts on others.
Yeah, that's right. Is there for the work that you do? Is there a black person that you can go to, like in the city council or in government or something like that, to say, "Hey, man, they having some problems over there. We bringing it to your attention. Can you bring it to the floor of the local government? Let's see if we can get this straightened out."
So, at various times in the history of Hawaii, we have had individuals to serve. The first woman superintendent of our school system was a Black sister. And so we have had members to serve in city council, throughout the state legislature, and as cabinet members in the governor's administration. And so
Okay.
there are people in neighborhood boards and such. And we
Okay.
currently have two individuals that are serving in the Hawaii State Legislature.
Okay. Is there is there a person that everybody knows the name of as a black person who speaks up? I mean, besides yourself, let's say, who speaks up? Everybody that's the go-to guy.
In a different area, I would say probably so. I think that the uniqueness here for Hawaii is that no one black person is trying to be the singular spokesperson
Yeah.
or icon.
Yeah.
That we recognize the need to share the wealth and to ensure that we all have a seat at the table. And we are. I will tell you that we unify in the context that our commitment is to, let's just say, a young military couple comes here and their children are 11 and 12. Our commitment is to ensure that those 3 years that those kids have a sense of what black normality is and culture pride and get that
Okay.
integration while they're there.
Yeah.
So while we honor and celebrate all of us for elevating to certain statues,
Yeah.
we are comfortable sharing the stage.
Is there is there a black person, like, do y'all wish y'all had more black businesses, more black restaurants, where you can get soul food and that kind of
Yes.
thing, and party stores, grocery stores? Is there a black guy who owns a car dealership, anything like that?
Well, I will tell you that most of the businesses, actually, probably the predominance of business is going to be in the restaurant industry, and there's just a handful of those, less than one handful. And the other business are small entrepreneurs that may be either in consulting, in law, in teaching, private,
Okay, okay,
those kinds of fields,
okay.
nothing to the level of a black dealership.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have at times had black clubs and such.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Is there um how does it feel to be on the island every day? I mean, like, what do you do? I know you got a lot to do because you're a busy man and stuff, but you wake up at 7 o'clock and the sun is shining. How does it feel to be on that island? What do you see every day?
I will tell you that if you are a person of faith, that you cannot be helped but reminded that there is a creator, that there is an entity far greater than yourself who has formed all of this existence into this beautiful mass. And on top of that, you have some of the most beautiful individuals that were ever formed to walk in your midst. You get the beauty and the smell of the crisp, fresh ocean breezes, the lusciousness of our flowing valleys, and you get to say that, wow, all of this and a paycheck is truly what I appreciate
Yeah.
about living in Hawaii. And I mean, you're constantly reminded whether it's the rainbows, the nice trade winds, the tropical breezes,
Yeah.
our evening spring showers, whatever it is. And
Yeah.
yes, we work hard, we play hard. There's not a day that you will not find individuals laying on the beach,
Oh,
surfing,
really? Okay.
swimming. You,
Okay.
one of the most beautiful things about it is that newborn babies are immediately introduced to the massive tropical ocean, and it is becoming one with what you have been given to be a
Okay.
steward over.
Okay. I got you. But the water is salty, isn't it? Isn't that the water, the ocean
Uh,
salty? That come
well,
out?
salty, yes, that big Pacific Ocean comes right up to your doorstep.
Oh, really? Is it cold?
Yes.
Is the water
It,
always cold?
the water is always beautiful and at a perfect temperature.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Man, I love it. I love it. So you you just happened to stumble upon this and said, "Here I am," and now you're
Well,
making your mark.
the military sent me here, and like I said, the military sent me here in 1992 May, and I didn't know that I was going to stay when I finished and retired in 2004. However, I weighed my options. This is where I had lived the longest of any time that I'd been in the military,
Yeah,
and I was comfortable with the diversity. I was comfortable with, everything about Hawaii, and
yeah,
I was far enough from things that I didn't want to endure and convenient and resourceful enough that I could
yeah,
go when I needed to go.
yeah. You you wear you don't you wear suits or the weather's too good.
Yes. So here's the thing. As African Americans, it's not irregular for you to dress up if you want to dress up, when you want to go to church
Yeah,
or to an event or something, and we love to do so.
yeah,
However, in paradise, you can put on like just a collared shirt here,
yep,
and you
yep,
can go to a formal meeting, with a head of state, you know.
yeah.
So it is acceptable. And I think that what this message says is that it should not be the material things that define you and your commitment. It should be the internal things that define you as a person of substance, and as an individual who is committed to a greater cause.
I just came over with a question for you. This let's say this might be my last one. What would you like to see black people do more of on the island?
The thing that I probably would like to see us do more of is continuing to come together. And I guess if there was something that is centered around that, is to ultimately have a facility or an establishment whereby we could truly put all of our history in and have it archived for future generations and
Like a
tourists
museum?
when they can. Like a large museum where all of our organizations could just pour in, and we could have a facility where we could meet, we could have events and activities,
I
all of
love it.
that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
I got one other for you,
yeah,
if I
yeah.
may,
Okay,
before we go. I,
yeah.
I want to make sure that we honor and celebrate among these great historians a very, very humble but iconic alpha man, and that is in the person of Dr. Ernest J. Harris. Dr. Harris came up out of the Deep South as a young kid and pledged back in the 50s into our beloved fraternity.
Yeah.
He is a research scientist, and his claim to fame, which we take for granted. Let me ask you this question: do you like fruit?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Do you know that way back in about the 90s that we almost had an eradication of fruit because of the fruit flies? Well, I will
Okay.
tell you that Dr. Harris is the scientist that developed a response for that. And he did it in a humane manner where he was able to sterilize these fruit flies so that they would not produce to the degree that they were producing, and they were eradicating fruit products,
Oh.
which the in South America and all those tropical countries, fruits were almost eradicated because of the fruit fly pest.
Oh,
And
really?
it was his design and patent and creation that resulted in now we're able to enjoy
I love it.
tropical fruits around the
Okay.
globe.
All right.
That's our alpha brother.
Where do black people work there? Are they most of them working like in the hotel lobbies and in the stores? Are they work? Are they climbing up the ladder there? That kind of thing, the corporate ladder.
So black people work in all levels of employment in Hawaii, whether it is the hotel industry and as a worker, a housekeeper, a manager, a chef, a staff, whether it is in the automobile industry, either in repair, maintenance,
Okay. Okay.
and admin or dealership,
Okay.
in education as principals,
Okay.
and
Okay.
all. So it's all over
Okay.
colleges.
I got you. I just want more, man, because I'm loving this. If I'm working there and I'm on that, let's say lower rung, for lack of a better
Hmm.
word, how do I survive with the place being so expensive?
You don't. So let me just cut straight to the chase for you.
Yes.
Hopefully you got at least about two others that you are sharing with so that you all can keep food on the table and a roof over your head and clothes on your back, and you still have what one would consider a sense of normality.
How much is rent?
Rent on average here, probably 1800 a month. The
One
median
bedroom.
cost as a house is roughly a little over $1 million for a
And
regular home.
okay. And that's a two-bedroom home, not near the
That's the
water.
traditional home. That's a traditional house.
But if you got lucky and got in on it when you were younger and your parents had one, you live in it now and you kept living in it, you could have a house that be $1 million that at one point y'all paid nominal amount for, let's say.
So I would say that if I had bought a house when I came here in the early 90s, the price at that time was somewhere between 175 and 250.
Okay.
However, understand that the income at that time also made it expensive. So the
Okay.
fact that it has been expensive,
Yeah.
has continued. Inflation and such, the gap has widened. The cost, though, has always been on the higher end.
Are there a lot of homelessness?
Homelessness is probably one of our biggest issues that we deal with on the island.
Black people homeless or no?
We do have, and it is very, very disheartening to see your own people. It's something that ticks at your heart when
Yeah,
you
sure.
see it in general. When you
Sure.
see your own black and brown people, all right,
Yeah.
that not only are suffering homelessness,
Yeah.
it is also very much associated with substance abuse and mental
Yeah,
illnesses.
sure, sure. Do
Yes,
you have that book with you?
this is my book. Let me pull
Okay.
it that way.
My Blackberry Seed Legacy.
That's it. Unfinished conversations with my father. And
Okay,
so anyone that looks up my name
yes.
will be able to, you can go
It's
to
on
Amazon.
Amazon.
It's on Amazon,
Okay.
and, and check
Yeah.
it out.
You got a website?
No website.
A
Hmm.
website just yet? Okay.
Yep.
Um, um, Well, hey, man, thank you so very much. Let me tell you something, everybody. I like it when guys got little ponytails. I think that's smooth, man. I never could grow a ponytail.
Let me just say this to you. And I'm gonna tell you what that's about. Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't even know I had turned around there and you
yeah, I
could
got
see
the
it.
ponytail smooth,
I
man.
can tell you that as all of this right here, Samson called it his strength, my
Yes,
brother.
yes,
Samson had it as his strength. And I
yes.
will tell you that I am African American, Native American, and actually Caucasian. And one of the reasons why I let my hair grow is I honor the Cherokee side of me, which you would most times when the image of an Indian really
Yeah,
is a long hair.
yeah, sure, sure,
And
sure.
so that's really what that's all about. And you're the
Yeah,
first individual that I think I actually,
yeah,
outside of some private conversations,
yeah.
actually shared that.
Well,
But
you
that's
know
what
what
it's
happens. The other thing is you got the hair to do it. I never did have enough hair that I could grow. Man, the ponytail. So you, with your ponytail, you could almost blend in. Could you blend in as a dark Hawaiian or something like that with your stature?
so I think statue wise, it's enough of an awareness of cultures here that people are able, because you're constantly having to distinguish between, and I'll just give you some examples. Is this person a Japanese, a Korean, a Samoan, a Chamorro, Micronesian? Is this person a Vietnamese? One of the other Asian countries that you don't think, Indian,
Right.
country Indian, and then you got blacks, whites, Italian, Hispanic,
Okay.
Alaskan. You got so many here that you see on a regular basis that actually I think they become wiser in identifying cultural nuances
Okay.
that allow you to say, I presume there's a predominance of African American
I
here,
got you.
and
I
I
got
will
you.
respect you and not insult you and
Yes.
consider you to be a New Zealander
Oh,
or a
really?
black Australian
Oh,
or a
really?
black from Holland
Okay.
or from France or Jamaica.
Because you got them on the island too.
We have students from Africa. And listen, I think this is another historic piece. When we talk about our brother Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson was one of the blacks who decided to do something about the education of people in Africa that wanted to come to America and get an education, but were unable. So Paul Robeson and a couple other people got together, issued scholarships. When they gave those scholarships to the colleges and universities in the continental United States, they were not accepted because they were students coming from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
However, when they gave those over to the students, to people in Hawaii, it was accepted. So I will tell you that President Barack Obama's father was one of those students that happened to get a scholarship to come to school here in America, and his school was Hawaii.
Oh, that's
So
how it went.
listen, brother, there's a
Yeah.
lot of history. There's a lot,
Yeah.
and you see how all that ties back to the
Yeah.
unsung heroes who
Yes.
have made the difference.
Yes. I love it. Well, hey man, thank you so very much for coming on the show. Oh my God, because I know I wanted to touch upon this because we don't know it,
Hmm.
and you
Right,
have
right.
enlightened us tremendously,
Well, brother, I tell you, I know
eloquently
you had some
wise.
expectations,
Oh
and I just
man,
wanted to try to do it.
you did do it. You did it easily. It's rock and roll here. Thank you so very much, everybody. You know that's what we do here, Strong Inspirations, where we give it to you straight, no chasing. I got a couple more questions. What do
Yes,
you
sir.
eat every day? Do you eat a lot of something every day because it's plentiful there? A lot of fruit,
I,
maybe, or
well, I tell you that almost anything that you want, you can have here, be it even if you're a vegan. or if you know you're not, there's a lot of foods here. But if you want steak, listen, they grow cattle here, you know,
Yeah,
raise cattle here, chickens,
yeah, yeah,
goats, curry, all kinds of local Asian, Italian, French, whatever it is your
yeah,
taste for, and you can get it,
yeah,
seafood, all
yeah.
the time,
So
you
is it?
know.
That's what I'm going to ask you. So it's a lot of
Mhm.
seafood that y'all eat,
In part,
if
yes.
that's
I
what you
think
do.
because it's
Yeah,
so plentiful, a lot
yeah,
of people don't eat it as much.
yeah,
And also eat a lot of native Hawaiian cultural dishes. And
yeah,
I think this is one of the rare places, and I've lived all around the globe, where I have really appreciated saying, today I want to eat, if I want to eat Jamaican, if I want to eat French, if I want to eat Italian, you know, if I want to
yeah.
eat
I got you. I
Chinese,
got you.
you know, it's all over the place.
Yeah, but but I guess, or is there's not like a particular fruit that grows in Hawaii that most people don't know of or something like that.
Sure. I would say people eat breadfruit here. A lot of the fruits that are indigenous or certain mangoes. Oh my God!
Kiwi.
The house, kiwi. You eat mangoes. You eat bananas, papaya. I mean, you know, those are things that you kind of grow in your
Yeah.
backyard.
Okay, I
You
got
know,
you. I
people have
got you.
avocado trees,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay.
lychee. Oh my goodness, and the list
Okay.
just goes on.
I got you. Everybody, I'm trying to give you a complete picture. Hey, again, thanks, man, for coming on the show. Everybody, like I said, hit that subscribe button. It's free. It don't ask no information. Don't cost you nothing. And you don't do nothing but hit the button, and then you are part of the family even more. Come on and
Hmm.
do that. Hit that like button on this video because I know you like. You ain't know nothing what he was talking about because I didn't either. Hit that notifications bell for when the videos come up. You get a ding, shock, smoke signal. Your lights flicker on and off in and out the house. I don't know. The horn on your car blows and whatever. But you know you got some good information that right on your hand, your fingertips. And tell somebody about strong inspirations. Check out his book. Check out his book because okay, he grew up like that. It did not define him. He said that very well. Somebody told him something, and he acted upon it. And then he left that scenario, and now he's a big man on a big island as a result of what he has endured and how he prepared himself, how he studied, how he worked. And so get that book. I know it's good. And go to Amazon and get it, and we'll put all that in the description. And quite possibly, I want to come down there on one of them dinners or something. You know, when I go places, I want there to be something
Absolutely.
happening. You know, I don't just go off the
Listen,
cuff.
all you got to
And
do is just let us know you here, my
yeah,
brother.
yeah. I want to do that, and maybe when I get big, y'all invite me down. And I want you to stay strong, stay safe, stay on your grind. I love what you're doing. And with that said, as you are from that the part of the U.S., is there words that y'all use to say goodbye or something like
Yes.
that? You know, that kind of thing.
Yes. So I will give us a quick Hawaii lesson.
Yes.
I'm going to say aloha. Aloha is an initial greeting. It is also a final greeting. And I will say mahalo nui loa. Mahalo nui loa, which means thank you very much.
There
And
you
so,
go.
my brother, I will say aloha and
Yes.
I will say ahui ho. And ahui ho means until we meet again.
Yes. No, I got one more question. Is that what you just said? Is that Hawaiian language?
That
Is that
is
what
the
they call it?
Hawaiian language. Isn't it
So
beautiful?
yeah, but so is there a lot of words to Hawaiian language?
Yes, and they don't have all the alphabets that are the regular English alphabet is 26 letters,
Right.
and the Hawaiian is a few letters missing. So when you hear us say, if I enunciated Hawaii, that's how everyone else says it.
Right.
The proper enunciation is Hawaii because the W is not part of the Hawaiian language.
Oh Really? So what? How
Yes,
if they was to spell it, why would they spell it without the W?
it was written by the English.
But that's not how
It's
they pronounce
when
it.
it's written in Hawaiian,
Yeah.
it's written correctly. Again, I want you to think
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah,
something,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Think about how when we were brought to the Americas and throughout that entire continental shelf there, right?
Yeah.
We were forced to transform to a different culture of
Yes. Sure.
thinking,
Sure.
religion, and everything.
Sure.
In our cradle of civilization, the motherland, we
Sure.
did differently.
Sure. 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 Yeah, I
So
got you.
in Rome, so to
Yeah,
speak,
yeah, right,
in
right.
Hawaii, it
Yeah,
is, if we use the Hawaii language,
I got you.
all right,
Yeah,
spelled
okay.
different.
Okay. Hey, everybody, with that, I'll say bye-bye. We out. You done got a lesson on Hawaii, and Aloha.
Yes,
I'm there.
aloha.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Peace. All right.